What's up, guys and gals, Star Wars fans? Here's a look at the Star Wars The Force Awakens Elite Speeder Bike with Stormtrooper. Again, just like the Assault Walker, there is no Force Awakens logo here, so I'm kind of imagining that this is another vehicle that we're not actually seeing in the movie. Hasbro's just, putting this out for us collectors to buy up because, we'll buy this stuff up. I'm definitely not complaining, though. This Elite Speeder Bike looks really cool in the Stormtrooper, which I'm assuming, is also an Elite Stormtrooper, being in the black deco with the red markings right there. It looks really cool as well, even though it's it's not a 5 points of articulation figure. I think it has articulation in knees, so it has a couple points of added articulation. As you can see here, much like the Assault Walker and the Armor Up First Order Stormtrooper that I reviewed previously, this is also from the Forest mission. You see right there as well. And even in the artwork, you see the forest in the background. And really cool artwork. Give you guys a good look at that. And then on the side as well, we see that Elite Stormtrooper pointing his blaster at an unseen enemy. Here's a look at the back of the packaging. In typical vehicle fashion, we get a large photo of the vehicle and showing off its features, which is it's kind of few moving parts. You really can't expect too much. Surprising that we're not getting like missile firing accessories on these vehicles, but I'm not complaining, about that either, because that would mean like oversized bulky cannons that just would be unsightly. And a brief description right there, which reads, reserved for the most experienced scouts and high-risk missions, these elite speeder bikes have been upgraded with heavy blasters and powerful new engines. So yeah, again, this thing looks really cool. Let's crack this open and see if the actual toy meets my expectations. Alright, so first up, let's take a look at the Stormtrooper figure. And just take a measurement right here. It's almost exactly 3.75 inches. It's teeny tiny bit taller. Give you guys a 360 of the figure. It's pretty nicely detailed, especially for the size. As you can see, there is very minimal paint apps. It's molded pretty much in all black plastic with just a couple of paint apps on here. As far as articulation, it is slightly more than 5 points of articulation. There's articulation in the head, and it is on a ball joint. And then shoulders, just a swivel, and the hips. But then this one also has addition of knee articulation. And again, it is molded in all black plastic, and pretty much the only paint apps are the red markings on the chest and the little bit of silver right there. And that's really all there is. But on this figure, it totally works. It's this elite, I'm assuming it's an elite Stormtrooper in all black with the red markings, and it just looks really cool. It does include blaster pistol, and I'm really digging the design of this blaster pistol. It looks really cool, and of course you can pop that in his hand like so, and then like the previous First Order Stormtroopers, there's a little slot right there that you can pop the blaster right into. So that is pretty cool as well. And now on to the Elite Speeder Bike itself. I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed with this vehicle. You guys a quick 360 so you can get an overall look of this thing. In my opinion, if you grew up on the original trilogy and you were a fan of the original speeder bikes, you're gonna like this. I think. You can see it's clearly based on the Imperial speeder bike that we saw in Return of Jedi, and we're familiar with from the original trilogy and expanded universe. But it kind of has a nice progression to it. A little more beefed up, just overall more badass, I would say. And of course, the main black and red color scheme adds to that badassness of this speeder bike. But there's actually quite a few more painted details than I thought were on this thing. There's quite a bit of little details, even this right there, which is painted blue. Even on the underside, there's a few painted details, and on these blasters right here. There's also quite a bit more moving parts. I mean, nothing major. It is just a speeder bike, and it has a few things that are lacking, but like it shows on the box, this can pop open. You can see engine detail right there, and this actually can pop right off too. So you can have that like being damaged. And the handles have a good range of motion as well. This turret in the front can move, as well as the one on the underside. And then the little foot stands, that can move as well, I guess, you know. If you're just parking it, you can put it like that, and when it's being ridden on, like so. And then these in the back can move as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But I was actually surprised with how many moving parts there is. And there's this, which looks like you can plug something in here. I don't know if that was intended for something that didn't get used. Like maybe there was going to be a missile that can fire out of this thing, which I'm glad they scrapped that idea. But other than that, you know, quite a bit of moving parts and some nice paint apps. Overall, again, I'm pretty impressed with the painted details and all the moving parts, and even the sculpted details. Let's look at all the sculpted details on that. And here is the Stormtrooper riding the Elite speeder bike. Yeah. There's not much more I gotta say. This thing just looks awesome. He can ride it really well. There is foot pegs, so he can stay on here pretty securely. The ball jointed head comes in a little handy for this, so he can look like he's, you know, looking forward properly while riding. Awesome, badass, you know, first order elite speeder bike. Awesome elite Stormtrooper. I mean, come on, seriously. Black and red. This is way too awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd highly recommend this one.